Welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. I want to say that thanks to the folks at Gibson Center, the folks up here in Everett, Washington, that are giving me this show remotely in demonstration of what it's like to be in this world of media today and know that you can do a television show from pretty much anywhere if you've got the right team, and we've got the right team. Stefan is our producer today. Gail Lynn, rebel, dreamer, author, and inventor. I met Gail a number of years ago when she was so far ahead of the curve with what she invented. And to this day, there's nothing quite like it. And I'm talking about the harmonic egg. But more than that, this is about frequency. It's about healing. Today, she took it another step. So I'm doing my best to keep up with Gail, but I don't think that's going to happen. What's happening is she stepped out into the world and now is an acclaimed filmmaker. We're about to talk about the film, but we're talking about the process of filmmaking today. You all should know one thing. This is free. It's a free documentary. Please pass it forward, pay it forward, spread it. And this is the kind of documentary you want to pass on to people this holiday season. Go to itstime.love. Itstime.love. Gail, thank you so much for today. It's great to have you here. This film, every time I watch it, it really brings up different emotions depending upon where we are. But I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm trying to imagine a day in the life of you. I'm going to make a movie. And then what? What did you do after that?
Oh my gosh, you're so spot on. I don't know how anybody could even keep up with me. And I have these great ideas and I'm an implementer. And so when I hear something and someone says, you know, the next phase of your career, you need to do a documentary. Now, I've been in automotive, I've been an engineer, I've been in telecommunications, and I've been in Hollywood already. And I think that culmination had just got me to where I am today. So when someone says, what's the next phase in you know, spreading the word about the harmonic egg, and they say you need to do a documentary, I just say, okay. You know, I say I say yes to life. So when something comes up, I just say yes and figure it out later. Now, my sister thinks that what she calls, you end up screwing your future self, because I'm the personality that says, you know, put it out there and we'll make it perfect later. And most inventors aren't that way. They put it out there when it's perfect, but sometimes it's 20 years later and their ideas are already taken by someone else because they waited too long to put it out there. And I'm not promoting putting it out there when it's really horrible, but at least when it's good enough. And then you can, you know, kind of work it from there. So with this documentary, I had to put it out perfect because you only have one chance, right? And so many people had so many different ideas about what it should be, how it should be put out there. But the filmmaking industry is really interesting because you're almost doing like 6 different businesses in one film. So you have the money raising part, which fortunately I was able to self-fund this one. And then you have the casting, you have the pre-production, you have the post-production, you have editing, you have marketing, you go to film festivals. So people say, you know, what does it take the average person to make a film? And the answer is the average person doesn't make a film. And so many people have asked me, what does it take? What does it take? I will write it all out for them. I will give it to them. But I also tell them, you better be prepared to put your whole life into this and to be focused.
Yeah.
Because so many inventors, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And this is what I want to talk about. I want to take a really short break. I want to make an adjustment here with the show, but this is what I want to talk about when we come back. This is an interesting year for you all out there. There's so many things that we want you to think about. And what Gail just described is so right up my alley, because what should I call it? Not obsession. Let's just say my desire to launch something and make sure it's what you use, perfect. Did you say perfect? That will get you in trouble. And Gail is so right. If you don't just get it out there, somebody is going to get it. And by the way, thank you to my trademark attorney for getting back unstuckable, because Gail Lynn has got this right on. Let's take a really short break. When we come back, I want to know from you. I really want you to think about this as you go watch the film. I want you to think about coming up to 2025. 2025 is it's time to be alive. 2025. What are you going to do to change whatever you're doing that's sticking you on that couch? Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's time. I want to make sure you know that we have a free documentary to spread more love and kindness, and it's free. I just want to be very clear about this. This is something, all you got to do is go to the website. You go to the website, you'll be able to see a button, click on the button, you'll have an option to donate. Of course, you can donate and contribute to all the hard work that Gail Lynn has done, but you can go. The point for today is pay this forward. Send this to 5 other people. If you want to feel great about your future, your life, if you're wondering, I just don't know what the heck I got going on, once you watch this film, it will stir something up inside of you. And what we're talking about today is the message, because I am one of those people, Gail, that you just nailed it. The process has got to be that you get to a place of satisfaction and not perfection. Did you get there?
I'm happy with the result. Is it the film that I thought we were going to have? No. But it evolved to the place it was supposed to be. I think if it was any longer, it would get boring. I think it trucked along really quickly. So people are telling me they have to go back and listen to it again and again and again to pick up what's actually going on in the messages. And so it could have been 8 hours long, and we have 20 hours of footage. So I did put out the bonus footage because I feel like, let people hear what the whole interview was like, but let me take the little sound bites and the snippets and let me get this out there, because I could have spent 7 years doing it, but I put it out in 9 months. I thought it was really important to get it out there before the US election, which we put it out in September 2024. And I thought that message of being, the kindness and the oneness, because I really feel like it's time. And that's how the title came into being, because I kept saying, it's time for more love. It's time. I'm like, that's the name. And I just really wanted people to realize we're all one. And no matter what happens in the world, we have to take our power back. We have to stop thinking that the leaders of the company and the rich people in the world are telling us what our reality should be. And we have to take our power back and bring that our own reality into fruition.
Yeah. It's been a really long time since I was visibly active in things that go on at I don't even want to say political level, because that's not actually correct, but I don't know another word. Maybe you can give me a new word. But there's one thing happening now that I looked at your film, I watched your film again, but here's what happened. I thought to myself, I'm not doing enough. Yes, we're launching the new network, all of this, but that's not what I'm talking about. And so I discovered something that was really getting under my skin. And everybody around me said, Pat, you're disillusioned. they're not going to do that. And so I said, look, there are a lot of things in the world that we can stand up for. It doesn't mean that we're not rebel with a cause and still loving. See, let's talk about that. Does this confusion? Because Gail, I introduced you as rebel, and you and I have that in common, but it doesn't mean we can't have an open heart. And for me, my commitment in 2025 is to do everything that I know how to do to protect Medicare and Social Security. I think that's an atrocity to even consider removing that from people. It has so many implications, but I didn't know that was inside me. And I can't remember who in the film I was listening to. Gosh, I'm trying to remember who they were that were talking about, all of them did, but they were talking about what action are you going to take? Now I'm paraphrasing, but the message was, what action are you going to take? You took an action. How did making this film change you, Gail?
It changed me on so many levels because I realized that these are my mentors, and I wanted to have women with, some wisdom, some sageness to them. And I found that I am in less judgment and more understanding of people and what they are going through in their lives. So I don't know if I talked about this in the last podcast that we had, but I was hit by a guy on the highway, and he pulled over, and I pulled over, and we got out of the car, and he was like, "I'm so sorry." Now I was surprised because he was so sorry, and he was on his phone, he was talking to his friend, and a whole lot of things were happening, and it was an accident. That's why they call it an accident. I ended up giving him a hug. That's not me. And I thought if more people could do this with love and kindness and just know it was a complete accident and we can love each other, even though this was a tragedy. I mean, dented up my car, but I didn't get angry. And I'm realizing now that I'm seeing things in a different light. I'm seeing that we're all one and we're all connected. So what happens to one happens to all of us. And we have to learn to navigate that. And I think this is the age of Aquarius, the divine feminine, and it's time. It's time for us to realize.
Yeah. Let's talk about, I don't know if you can share this. I want to know some behind the scenes stuff, because those are the things that don't make the cut, right? But they're the experiences that you have. I want to talk about your experiences in making the film, right? Because those are the things that don't get in the film, but they're so much a part of the film, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, there's so many things. And I wanted to do a bloopers and kind of behind the scenes, but they said it would take away from the seriousness of it. But that's my personality. I'm like, let's just put all the bloopers out there. We showed up at Penny Kelly's house because we actually filmed in Michigan. That was one of our filming. And I know we only have, 30 minutes, so I'll tell a story from each location. We showed up at her house, and it was raining, and we had to do the filmmaker wanted to do stuff in the rain, so we stood out there. It was like Wayne's World because we're out in the street. We're trying to get that shot with the lines. People see the road lines and our two umbrellas. And every time we're just ready to get into the shot, car. So we had to move out of the UPS truck, the FedEx truck. Everybody was coming as soon as we were trying to film. And people don't realize some of this funny stuff that happens. And then the teapot kept going off. So they're in the kitchen and you hear beep, beep, beep. I'm like, oh my gosh, cut. There was just so many beautiful things that happened too. There was a blue jay that was right outside the window. That was a beautiful experience as well. But I'll tell you some funny things and some things about Ani. When we went to Sedona, I wasn't paying attention. I was focused on everything. I walked right through the screen door and fell flat on my face. Totally ruined their screen door. And everybody was looking at me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention. And the door was open. You couldn't see the screen. So I just walked right through it.
Oh my God.
And then Ani says that she was so excited about this because she said her mom had always known that she was going to be like a rock star, a superstar, a movie star. And she said, my mom had this dream for me and now you made it a reality. And I was like, your mom would be so proud of you. And so people don't get to
Yeah.
see the things, the funny things that happened in the library with Stephen. Oh my gosh, we were laughing so hard because he takes this book that's probably 50 pounds and he calls it a pocketbook edition. I couldn't stop laughing. We had to keep cutting. And then the guy is underneath him holding the book up from underneath because it's so heavy. And we keep having to shoot the scene again and again and again. And then we're walking through the library and we're just cutting up and laughing. We had to keep, cutting. It was hilarious. And then when we came to Michigan, I ended up getting a optical migraine that day. So everything you see on my footage, I was powering through an optical migraine. That was crazy horrible. Of all days, the day that I'm supposed to be shooting my footage and everything, I'm dealing with that. And
Yeah.
then, of course, the horse. We talked about the horse stuff already,
Yeah.
where she was
Yeah.
she was so great. She was so, so
Yeah.
great. There were so many funny things that happened.
Yeah, you should do the bloopers. I have a holiday message coming out, and like after how many gazillion takes, especially when you're doing it yourself. I got this little dog, laughing dog, and it's sensitive to your movement. And I kept trying to turn it off, right? It's battery operated. And I kept trying to turn it off. And for some reason, it wouldn't turn off. It's a laughing dog. So I start to talk, and this dog in the background, just all you hear is me trying to say my very profound holiday message, right? And all you hear is this laughing dog. But sometimes those are the things that show our humanity, right? Now, I don't know if it would take away the film, because clearly for me, take away from the film, I'm going to include the blooper in that because that is my personality. But you interviewed so many really cool people. What was it like for you to be showing up on their doorstep, right? And
Yeah.
getting ready to sit down and just have this conversation with them?
Well, I was a nervous wreck, especially to meet, Penny Kelly and Cynthia. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Penny Kelly. And they're just real. They're just people. And that my dad used to say that to me. He's like, the CEO of the company puts his pants on the same way everybody else does. And she was so welcoming for us
Yeah.
into her home, and so such a great host, and just a regular great person,
Yeah.
very humble. She doesn't think she's Penny Kelly. She's Penny Kelly, right? She's just who she is. And that's what people say, oh my gosh, you're Gail Lynn. I'm like, mm-hmm. And I put my pants on the same way you do.
And the famous, can I have a little selfie with you? It's surreal, isn't it? I mean, but these are the things of the energy that go into the film. I want to ask you about this. For those of you out there, the film is called It's Time, and you can go to itstime.love. And when you get there, you're going to get a free version of this. And maybe Gail will release the blooper reel. But the bloopers are part of what makes it. Once you watch the film, people will be touched in different ways, but we all sit through and we all make, we all have these things. Look, I did a music video shoot, and I was introduced to Beyonce's mom and dad, right? And their name is not Beyonce. That is not their name. But I'm so nervous. And I go to shake her hand. I say, "Hi, Mrs. Beyonce." No, that's not her name. And she just looked at me, and I looked at her, and I said, "Okay, retake." And I went back. But you see, these are the things that, regardless of how we do this, it didn't stop you, Gail. See, none of that stopped you. Not the bloopers, the bleepers, the walking through
The cars,
that is
the
a good one.
rain,
That's timeless.
the
Walking through the
headache.
screen door. But what kept you going? I want the message to be for you, for people listening. I want them to know, don't give up.
Yeah. I will say that as long as you focus and you have a passion and you have drive, you can do anything you put your mind to. And I am living proof of that. I have built businesses in telecom. I've helped, build Hollywood businesses. I have built my own business, and I'm not anybody special. It's just that I have the passion, I have the drive, and I don't give up. I don't believe when someone says you can't, I don't believe that. I just believe that you can. And then I just keep going. And it's Christmas time, so we'll talk about the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Um, one of the shows has the guy that is like the magician guy, and he sings a song. You put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be, walking across the floor and out the door. And that's what I always put in my head. Put one foot in front of the other,
Exactly.
and you can do anything.
In recovery, Gail, there's a famous saying. Well, there's a lot of famous sayings, but in recovery, the one that I like is all you have to do is the next indicated thing. And I sat here and I planned out day-to-day timeline for our launch. And I realized that, the soft launch can happen in December, and the harder, more publicized launch, we can do it another time, because your message is profound. We have to take the action out. And that's what you did. What's next on the horizon? What's your closing message for us today?
Well, I'm actually, I took an opportunity that came to me about being in a documentary called Inspired. It's going to film in 2025. You're going to love this. It's going to be Dr. DeMartini, Brian Tracy, Dr. Udi. And I thought, this is an audience I haven't touched yet. And the producer said, I can get either Martini or Brian Tracy to get in the egg, and you can interview from an egg center.
Get them both in the egg. They're both fabulous. Those two together. Are you kidding me? When are you doing it? Can I come? When are you doing it?
Well, they just told me yesterday that they're going to film some of it in Bali. So I'm trying to figure out, that's in May of 2025.
Awesome.
And it's just an audience that I wouldn't normally touch. So I was just on Next Level Soul with Alex Ferrari. And in 24 hours, we've got 70,000 views, 4,200 likes, and it's blowing up.
Yeah.
And so I'm writing a second book, and
Yeah.
then the momentum is building. But you know what? It's taken 8 years.
No kidding. I mean, people think when they hear about what we're doing like overnight. No, it's taken us 15 years, not because we're not behind the curve. We have to wait for the time for things to catch up. Gail, last question, personal message. What do you want to leave us with? Thank you.
Well, yeah, I think that's what I just said is you can do anything. Just put your mind to it. Stay focused. If you're an inventor and you have 101 ideas, that's not impressive. The impressive thing is you launch one of them.
Gail Lynn, again, it's time.love. Pay it forward, pass it on, make somebody have their heart touched in such a profound way. Make sure you like the film, make sure you connect with Gail, and please, everyone, remember what she said. This is the time. It's our time. It's your time. It's time. We'll see you in a few minutes.